Imagine, if you will, writing a letter, sealing it with wax and hoping it was received within a few months across the Atlantic. That's what life was like in the old town of York 2 centuries ago, captured today at Toronto's first post office.
It would have been a gathering place, kind of an internet cafe of its day.
The outlet and reading room still sit on Adelaide, what was then known as Duke Street, just a couple of blocks north of Lake Ontario. It was built as the town's population was exploding, from a few hundred living along the water to thousands soon after.
This would have been the commercial street. King Street was the shopping street, with all the merchants lined up, and Front Street was where people lived.
Walking down the street was easy. 10 blocks to start for a tight-knit government and military community, where everyone knew each other well.
Drive through a little small town Ontario today, where you've got the houses spaced apart with gardens in between. That's the kind of place that it would have felt like, I think, back in the 1790s. Surrounded by forest, not far away.
Then, of course, there are those who were here long before English settlers or French fur traders. The First Nations people, where the name Toronto actually came from, knew enough to stay away from the muddy shores and actually called the base of the Humber and Don Rivers home. There are traces of the town today, you just have to look hard to find them. Old Georgian architecture stands out in certain spots, along with small nods on windows and historical signs. St. Lawrence Market, though, remains the place to connect and imagine what it was like way back when.
At the time, it would have been a much simpler thing. It would have been an outdoor structure. It would have just been a place for merchants and farmers to come to set up a stall.
The infamous War of 1812 brought its concerns beyond the battle. Looting became a large part of the aftermath, making it difficult for all.
When the war was declared in 1812, since York was the capital of Upper Canada, it was always considered a symbolic target by the Americans.
And while the war's bicentennial is being celebrated, so too are the people and the town they established at the time. A gathering place that continues in that tradition today.
This is where Toronto began as a city, so there is lots of effort going into commemorating that and making that better known.
Consider it a stamp of approval. Mark McAllister, Global News, in what is now Toronto.